Welcome all to IGN Live. I'm Travis Northup. And in 2026, we're not just celebrating IGN's 30th anniversary, Blizzard is also celebrating 30 years of Diablo. Joining us to chat about this franchise's storied legacy and give us a glimpse of what the future holds, please welcome Nan Jiang and Matthew Cedarquist. All right, so starting, for lack of a better question, what the hell is happening with Diablo? We are going to get into that stuff, but before we get into things, you guys were generous enough to bring with you an exclusive cinematic first look at the Warlock class in Diablo Immortal. Let's take a look.
The righteous call it madness to reach into hell and take it by the hand. They fear its dark power. I choose to wield it. I am the unstoppable, roaring answer to the darkness. I do not bargain. I command. And hell itself obeys me. The flames of hunger! Yes, struggle! I'll set us both aflame! Flayed or burned, take your pick.
All right.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, let's give it up for that. So obviously, let's address the first thing, which is this is very much not the prim and proper Warlock we saw in Diablo 2 Resurrected. It's also very different than the kind of stoic Diablo 4 Warlock. So can you talk a little bit about what is different about this Warlock, laughing maniacally and smiling and kind of sadistic take on the Warlock?
Sure, definitely. So this is a very good question. For our Warlock, it's a little bit special in front of the timeline thing, because for Diablo 2, there's the presenting like the Warlock starting to get in touch with those, forbidden knowledge. And when it comes to the Diablo 4, it's actually sometimes, these are already mastered of the hell power. But our people, the Warlocks, she is like sitting in the middle, like in the history. And,
the angsty teenage years of the Warlock.
I like that description. Like she is more reckless, like more dangerous, ambitious, and I think the most important creature for her is like she is able to cross the line. Like she sometimes just don't mind to cross the line, and then that is something really familiar to our games, nature and the franchise. Like Diablo Immortal is always the title that try to push the boundary of what a Diablo games could looks like, and for the history. And also our team is always having that sort of pioneer spirit, and also some sort of reckless, the rebellion energy kind of thing there. And I think the outlook, visually you can see from the cinematic also like playing here, like she had like sort of punk and rock star feeling. And I think that's exactly communicate the spirit of this class.
Right, and she doesn't just bring a new personality, she also brings new Warlock mechanics that are very different from D2 or D4. The signature mechanic for the Warlock in Immortal is called the Soul Gorger, which is described as, quote, a demon that devours other demons to absorb their traits. That is Kirby, sir.
Oh, yeah.
That's just evil Kirby, I think.
Sounds badass when you just say it like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
So tell us about the Soul Gorger.
Hey, guys, do you like the moment she summoned up like the yowling, the big mouth at his body? That's crazy, right? That's I think the Soul Gorger is the representing the relationship between the demon and the Warlock themselves. So I think there's one thing I want to mention is the demons are not companions. So she is the person who really, not bending their wells. I don't know if you still remember the cinematic. She said like most people got afraid from the power, but I will wield it, right? That's something she tried to do is, commanding the demon and not try to, just simply make them their friends. And on the other hand, you also mentioned devolve, like the other power. There's actually one mechanic we developing, try to mention that is like with the game goes, you're able to pick many other different demons to summon, but at the end of the summons, the big mouse gonna bite them out. So they're gonna eat them and gain the temporary enhancement with the summon that you summon out. So there are how many mix and match you can imagine from there, right? Like there are many demons you could summon, and after that, they gotta eat it up. So there's one thing we also try to deliver is like the hierarchy for the demons. So that for those, Soul Gorger is kind of the top of the pyramid, and all others minions are just something smaller. So again, they gotta be eat by the Soul Gorger, right? It's pretty fun about that part.
Gotcha. And you're the senior game designer on the Warlock for
Yes.
Immortal. So what are some builds we can do with the Soul Gorger? Like, give us some examples of the ways we could kind of power up this guy.
Yes, sure, definitely. So for example, like there's demons that you pick it up that are just very combined with the Soul Gorger's power, like they can observe them and become stronger. And there are also other mechanics, like the skill interaction is one of the other pillars we always try to keep in our design, is the interaction between the skills. So there will be a whole set of skills, or just for the Soul Gorger and the summons. And they're not only attacking with the enemies, but also try to apply on those summons as well. So for example, like if you can see Cardback like with the cinematic, like when she swelling the hell chain, the fire burning chains there, we call it Lash of Pain. And are you thinking about like, for example, if these chains could hit on the other enemy demons, do you believe it can hit on the Soul Gorgers?
Why not?
Why not, right? Why not? So that's also the question we're asking ourselves. Why not? So we have, if you use the Lash of Pain to smash on your summons, or the Soul Gorger, it will make him feel very angry and powered and force him to it's more of like commander, right? You're the commander. You're giving order to your army of demons. That's exactly what we try to do.
Awesome. And Diablo Immortal has lots of classes at this point. I think 10, which is more than any Diablo game. A lot of people forget that. Yeah, it's got the most. So how do you differentiate the Warlock in that crowded field, make it feel new to players who've maybe played through Diablo Immortal and a bunch of classes already?
I think that's actually a huge advantage for player first time enjoy it to our games, the Diablo series or Diablo Immortal, because we got 10 class, right? It's amazing. So everyone could find whichever they want, like the previous one, the Druid, the Tempest, the Blood Knight. These are something that never happened in the Diablo history. And when it comes to the Warlock, like it originally come from the D2, right? But like for our side, we believe there are 4 core pillars there. The first one is demonic summon. We already talked about that a little bit before, and also the skill interactions. Like we try to make a lot of skills are able to interact with our current your summons, and as well as the enemies, like make the kind of chemical interactions. On the other hand, we also have something called like sacrifice power. That's basically using your health as secondary resources, and we're able to enhance your skill as well. So that's also fun. And the last thing we try to say about is the portal thing, right? You saw that in the cinematic as well. Like the portal would definitely theme a lot of skills, but not only theme, but also mechanic are there for the for Warlock skills. I think overall, there's just one thing I want to mention is just those dangerous power, people are trying to getting away from them. But for Warlock, she is like, she tried to use them, like become the commander and bend it to her will.
Nice. And then Diablo Immortal is a mobile-first game. It is on PC, but
yes, it's on PC. I was about to say that. Yeah. We have PC. Come on, yeah.
You have PC, but it is more mobile-first. So how do you tune the Warlock specifically for that playstyle on the mobile phone and for its player base as well?
Yes, that's a really good question, because our game, there's the very core aim we try to do is like you can play at home on your PC and go out, take your phone, and to become seamless, switch from there. So definitely mobile first is something we need to consider about, but we consider it from a more intuitive way to play the game. So, for example, they already mentioned it before, like the lash of pain. You could imagine like when you use your chain to hit your puppet or your head, what he gonna do, right? He wanna feel angry. So that's kind of intuitivity as we try to chase is you using the skill, you learn the class. You don't need to read those long tooltips. Player hate the long tooltips, right? I hate it as well. Like I have to read in all these strings things, but like the starting point is we try to make the class as intuitive as possible. And people learn the class the first time they know how to do it. Another thing we get a takeaway from our previous class is Druid. Druid have the secondary resource power called the primal power that when you are doing the transformation or we consume, then when you end it, it will be returning or something like that. But that kind of circle is we getting feedback from players saying like a little bit too heavy. Can we have a little bit more simpler one? So that's why we're making this. You can see that gauge there. That's the secondary resource power we created also for Warlock, but it's much simpler, but a much more significant impact to your combat actually. So anytime you get hit, anytime you hurt yourself, you can Warlock hurt herself, but like also give that kind of insane feeling of this class is you can increase that gauge, and after it's fully charged, your next skill, some of them will be an enhanced version, and much stronger than it used to be. So it's quite like creating a small, ultimate feeling for players rather than waiting for a long, even longer pick. We're just trying to create some small pick during your combat. That's something we try to do.
Okay, so my impression on your description is that this is on the higher end of like the skill ceiling for this terms of classes.
Yeah.
Can you talk about kind of where it sits? Because the original reveal described this class as a, quote, high stakes play style focused on opening portals and carving rifts through reality.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty complicated to me. So.
Yeah. Oh, come on, you're a bad guy. I like it, by the way, yeah. So actually, so when we are designing class, the first principle we try to keep in our mind is, does this fun? Does this feel fun to our players? Does it feel fun to us? And after the playtest, I think the whole team gave a very solid yes to ourselves. So yes, it is true. There's some sort of a very complicated mechanic. But if you were new to Diablo, you're new to Diablo Immortal, you're new to the series, this is one of the best entry point for you to play the game, because you have the Soul Gorger power at level 1. You don't really need to fight by your alone. You can use your demon's power, and that is really very fantastic for our players who never played the game before. And on the other hand, for our returning players, for the veteran players, there are also some hidden stuff in the class as well. Like our principle is always be like starting enter is easy, but deep depths are a lot there. So for example, there's a skill I really love. I don't know if you still remember with the cinematic, like she jumped into the portal when the enemy rushed into her and it come out from the other side of the place. So that is one of the most significant skills she gonna have is the portal. So the portal not only used for yourself, it will also be used for your allies, and it will be there for a while. So you can imagine that. I can't wait to see player digging out with some kind of strategy that they hiding behind the wall. Oh, by the way, the portal are able to cross the terrain. So that's the key, right? So hidden behind the wall, and when the enemy players coming out and ambush him through the portal with the whole 5 people rush to her face. But I mean, that's something we're really looking forward to see players do that.
Awesome. Cannot wait to dive into that. So let's pivot over to kind of the larger discussion about the 30th anniversary of Diablo. Starting first, why the Warlock obviously has been kind of the mascot of the 30th anniversary of Diablo. They're in Diablo 2, Diablo 4, and now Immortal. Why did the Warlock feel like the right way to kind of celebrate Diablo's 30th?
Sure. I'll give you sort of the origin story, I guess, of the Warlock originally. So the Warlock was actually designed originally for Diablo 2, and just Diablo 2 only. right? We wanted a surprise and delight moment for the millions and millions of players who still play 26 years later on this game. But as we were developing it, we started to say to ourselves, like, this is a pretty badass class.
Yeah.
Like, we need to go bigger with this, right? The Warlock is one of those classes that throughout Diablo 4 and throughout Diablo Immortal, it's just really grounded in that dark, gritty Diablo fantasy, right? It's one of those ones where you're not just sort of surrendering to hell itself, you're commanding hell at this point. So we took the fantasy of 30 plus years of players playing Diablo, flipped it on its head, and now you're the one commanding. And honestly, to bring it from Diablo 2 to Diablo 4 and Diablo Immortal is huge for us, massive.
Also, after 30 years of Diablo, the ARPG genre is more crowded than it has ever been. You guys have your Path of Exiles, you've got your Last Epochs, and lots of these games are kind of pushing that genre in different directions, pushing it forward, trying new stuff. How does that competitive landscape affect the way you guys think of Diablo, the way that you guys are developing it? Do you kind of see yourself as the kind of bulwark in kind of the OG? You guys are the OG of the genre, right?
Sure.
Do you guys play these games, feel inspired by them? I'm always curious about how you guys think about that.
First off, we're all gamers, right? Every single person that we come to work with
Absolutely.
have passion and creativity, and we play games, right? But we think it's positive, right? We think it's positive where we are right now in the Diablo franchise. We helped craft the ARPG genre back in the day with Diablo and Diablo 2, which is obviously wonderful. But we love seeing what other teams do with the genre, right? Not just us pushing the genre, but all these other teams doing some epic stuff. And we always take inspiration from everywhere, whether it be designers internally or artists, producers, and fans, and even the genre itself. Like I said, any type of game we play, creativity can come from anywhere. So,
yeah, and also I was planning on asking you guys about what's next for Diablo, but we already know because the Diablo 4 director gave a very not so subtle tease.
Not so subtle.
A not so subtle tease about what we can expect from BlizzCon. We're here talking about Diablo Immortal. Can we expect to hear more about Diablo Immortal at BlizzCon? We know we're going to hear about Diablo 4.
True. Yeah, I think BlizzCon is, first off, BlizzCon's amazing. So if you haven't been to BlizzCon, you got to check it out.
I'm sure my invite's in the mail.
Invite's definitely out in the mail.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's where you get the full breadth of Diablo, right? We don't just look at the past. We look at the past, present, and the future. So while I can't give out any specifics right now, I just want to let everyone know that we the flames are stoked, and we have the momentum going from Diablo 2 and Diablo 4, and we're looking for amazing feedback when our Warlock comes out for Immortal. And we're going to be talking, like I said, past, present, and setting up for the future after this con.
I'm hearing a yes, so we're going to hear about Diablo Immortal.
You're going to definitely hear about some Immortals.
All right.
The hair.
Good. Okay, I have one last thing before we go. In addition to being the 30th anniversary of Diablo, you know what else this year is?
Let me guess.
The 30th anniversary of IGN.
Yes, it is.
All right, so I wanted to celebrate this. Can we get some balloons out here, please? That'd be great. What do we got? Oh, yes, let's do that. Woo, fantastic. Woo! All right. From my birthday to yours, this is 30 years
Well, happy birthday.
of our joint union.
Amazing 30 years.
And I'm going to end with one question.
Sure.
Diablo 1 was actually one of the very first games IGN reviewed. Guess the score.
Oh, no.
1997. What was the score for
1997.
Diablo 1?
January 1st, 1997. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to guess IGN provided it an 8.
Bingo! Exactly an 8. Fantastic. Yeah, it got an 8 and then a 7.5 on its PlayStation port, which we noted was still good, but not as good as playing on PC. Congratulations. That's 30 years, guys. Thanks. That's all we've got time for. Stick around for more on all things demons, warlocks, the very pits of hell, and keep it right here on IGN.